Hi first grade, it's Mrs. Settles and we're here for story time. So let's cozy up, maybe go grab a blanket or something fun and cozy and just get ready to listen to a really great book. And today we are reading one of our favorites from the classroom, The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. And this book immediately is funny to us if we know the classic, which is The Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. So this is a twist on a classic fairy tale, and I think because that twist is happening on the cover before we even start reading, it already tells us this might be kind of silly, like a silly, funny book. So we'll go ahead and get started. The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig by Eugene Trivizas. Once upon a time, there were three cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day, Mother called the three little wolves around her and said, "My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourselves, but beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother, we will watch out for him," said the three little wolves, and they set off. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the three little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. So this is already kind of a little different from the classic fairy tale that we know, The Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf, because the three little pigs make houses out of different items. And from what I can tell, a house of bricks seems pretty strong. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks and the little wolves had built. The three little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer and knocked the house down. The three little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. "We shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. "Please, will you give us some of your concrete?" asked the three little wolves. "Certainly," said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. And concrete, if you're not sure what that word is kind of like what's on the pavement outside on a sidewalk. So once again, like the bricks, seems pretty strong. No sooner had they finished than the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden, and when they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed, and he puffed and he huffed, but the house did not fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched a mnemonic drill and smashed the house down. This is an example of a big word, mnemonic right there. And when you have a big word that maybe you're able to pronounce, but you're still not sure what it means, this is a good example of being able to use the pictures in a book to help you figure out what it means. Because you know what a drill is. You might not know what a mnemonic drill is, but then you look at this and you can see it's one of those drills that construction workers use. Has a long wire, looks really big, bigger than a normal drill, so you can kind of put the pieces together yourself. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were very determined. Just then they saw a truck coming along the road carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armored plates, and some heavy metal padlocks?" They said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. "Sure," said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. He also gave them some plexiglass and some reinforced steel chains because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. Something I'm noticing in this book, because it's good to notice things that repeat, and we see that a lot in many of our books. But one of the things that I notice repeating through this book is that the three little wolves always have help from friends, very kind friends and neighbors that they run into. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling along the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, locked all 37 padlocks, and the pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house did not fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and the house blew up. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. Poor little wolves. "Something must be wrong with our building materials," they said. "We have to try something different, but what?" At that moment, they saw a flamingo coming along pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "With pleasure," said the flamingo, and he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of flowers. And usually, friends, when we get to this part of the book, that's where we're kind of all thinking the same thing. Like, okay, they used concrete, they used bricks, they used steel, and now they're just using sticks and flowers? What are these little wolves thinking? Sure, it's beautiful, but can the big bad pig knock that down? It makes me wonder what they're thinking here. One wall was of marigolds, one was daffodils, one was pink roses, and one was cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in the bathtub and buttercups in the refrigerator. It was a rather fragile house. It swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the bluebell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and another. And instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. He started to sing and dance the tantarella. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick. But soon they realized that the pig had truly changed. So they came running out of the house and they started playing games with him. First they played pig pong, then piggy in the middle, and when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. The end. And that is the three little wolves and the big bad pig. And when we're in class, we always talk about this ending and how much we love it. It's so different than the classic fairy tale with the three little pigs and the big bad wolf, because unlike that one, it ends differently, and how it ends is that they all become friends. And that's such a fun thing to see, that someone that is making the wrong choices can change to make the right ones. And it's also great to see that when you're the ones that were always making the right choices and we're always doing the right thing, you get rewarded in the end and nothing bad happens to you, and ultimately you gain something more, and that's a new friendship. So I hope you had a wonderful time reading this book. It's one of my favorites. I miss you so much and I can't wait to see you. Love you, first grade. Bye.